think I don't know if you're gonna be okay with talking about it, but uh, the person that probably bothers me the fucking most in all history of fucking politicians, because I've dealt with this piece of shit in person, and he's fucking disgusting. We've looked into him. He's keeps getting reelected in the city of Cudahy. His name is Jack Guerrero. He's a Republican
Who?
who does who
Never
that.
heard of him.
So yeah, he was once mayor, correct? He once
Yeah,
at one point or another he was mayor of Cudahy. He
yeah,
then got dethroned and just took a council member position, and he's been council member ever since.
right.
So this guy is basically, like one of those Latinos for Trump type people. He was at Trump's inauguration
Hmm.
when he won his election. He's never admitted it publicly because he knows that the people will call him out on it, but they know that that's who he supports. They just they keep voting for him anyway. He When it comes to big votes, he abstains. When he So he's really not doing a damn thing. He's not even doing what he's paid to do there. Um, and I don't know. I know it's not like a huge fucking secret, but I know that you guys actually like had like an amicable relationship at
Yeah,
first.
dude, we're buddies. We're
Yeah.
buddies. We would exchange like Christmas gifts, like here, Merry Christmas, like that sort of thing. And I tried to do that when I first got into council, like the only person I really knew was Chris Garcia because we went to middle school and elementary school together, and we reconnected when he went into politics. So long story short, I had like I knew who Chris Garcia was, right? Because we grew up together. I didn't know who anyone else was on that council. So when I first got on, I would say, okay, I need to have coffee with everyone so I can know what everyone's story is and find out what's what. When I've had my first like meeting with Jack, we went to go have coffee at the Tierra Mia right here in Southgate,
Yeah.
and we ended up having just a conversation about like sort of like right now we're having a conversation about politics, travel, our backgrounds, because we had one thing in common, like we're from Cudahy. Jack grew up in Cudahy, and he actually went to high school with one of my uncles. So we were able to find like a yearbook, like, hey, look at there's Jack.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we were buddies for a while, for sure. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
I guess what I wanted to kind of get to is do you think like we're in this situation now in 2021 and 2020 where Republicans in my opinion, they can't none of them can be trusted. They're all full of shit. They all bowed down to Trump. At first, they shitted on Trump. They never thought he would get anywhere, and now they're like, oh, they flopped real quick, and they wouldn't even accuse him of starting the insurrection. They wouldn't even do that. As far as the relief bill, I think none of them voted to pass it. No Republican, not one. Not one of them thought of their constituents. So did you ever think, or did you, you were getting into politics and you were getting into a situation where this guy was gonna like stab you in the back, or not stab you in the back? I really don't know what really happened, but was eventually gonna be like a rival.
yeah. So I could like pinpoint the time of when things started to shift. It was the minute that he rotated out as mayor, because there is an ordinance in place where one person cannot serve consecutive mayorships. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're mayor one year, you have to rotate out before you get voted in again as mayor. That's just like the rules. So after his year was up, we all voted. We all voted for Chris Garcia, and when Chris became mayor, he nominated me as his vice mayor, and we were like, cool, let's get to work, you know. And that's when I honestly felt there was a change in Jack. Jack was like, oh, there are new people in power. Keep an eye on them. Be vigilant. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I just switched chairs with you. Like, it doesn't make any sense. This whole be vigilant thing doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I So yeah, I definitely saw a change in Jack. He was like there was this one instance where I filed paperwork in late. When you're a politician in office in the state of California, I'm sure it's like the same in other states, but you have to file in forms called Form 700s. And Form 700s say whether or not you accepted any gifts over the price of $50. So if you get a gift that's $50 or more, you have to report it. But if you're like having a meeting with someone and they buy you a cup of coffee, don't worry about it. It's like $4 or $5, right? Or even lunch. Everywhere that I used to meet with vendors or like members of staff, I would always go to like a local restaurant and I would order like the pupusas. Pupusas are like $3 or $4 each. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm not buying a $50 pupusa. That would be a good pupusa, right? So long story short, I forgot to file in these paperwork, these forms with me. So I was like, oh, you know what? I will fill them out before the meeting, make a bunch of copies so I could turn them into city staff, right? And so during his council comments, he was like, well, first public comment was going down, and public comment was like, Markovich forgot to turn in these Form 700s. What's he hiding?
Oh
You know, I'm
my
sitting there like,
god.
I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, like all of a sudden they turned on me. Like, what did I do? I didn't turn in my Form 700s. So then Jack, during his council comments, was like, there is a member of council who hasn't done this, who hasn't done that about my forms. And I'm like, look, I got my forms like right here. Like, you want a copy? There's a copy. Crystal was there, my now wife. We were dating at the time.
Mhm.
She had some. She had copies of them in the back. I go, look, Crystal has these forms. She'll pass them out to everybody. There you go. Problem solved, right? But that was like the first instance where I felt like, oh my god, like this guy has it out for me now. You know, like what did I do to him?
Mhm.
So that's when things started to get awkward and things became real hostile and the jabs became more public and the phone like I'll try to call him and things would go to voicemail and I'm like, okay, well I guess we're not talking anymore. Yeah, just things like that. It became awkward really quick and I tried to mend those bridges as early as like a couple months ago too. Because every
Oh
now and then
wow.
I'll try to like send him a text message. You go, hey Jack, I'm not in office anymore. I have no agenda. How are you doing? You know, let's maybe after this is all said and done, let's go grab a cup of coffee. You know, because life is too short to hold a grudge, man. You know, like I went through all of that shit just so that someone will be angry with me for the rest of his life. Like that's
Yeah.
no way to live, you know?
Yeah, and damn, I'm glad that you brought this up because we've been talking about this a lot. I know if you've been listening or the people who have been listening, we've been talking about this a lot, and it's like, man, should you like how much should we be motivated to break bread with people who are that toxic? Right, like he not only like did he fuck up the relationship that you guys had, and I'm sure like you and Crystal, like you guys, like you said, you guys were exchanging gifts and all this shit, so you guys were closer than just regular friends. um
Yeah,
so on top of that, he burns that bridge, and then he tries to screw you politically in your career. And on top of that, he becomes this fucking MAGA drone that invites all these people to our city and
yeah.
almost like causes violence. We get people that got arrested.
Did
They got people
did
that got
cause violence,
arrested
dude.
because they had fucking guns and they brought weapons into a city hall
There were
meeting.
macing people
They were macing
out there.
people. All that shit started because of fucking Jack. And like I have to kind of be a little skeptical about people who think that it's okay to break bread with somebody like that.
Yeah,
Damn.
man, it's rough, dude. I wanted to, like like I just wanted to see if there was any chance so that I could sit down and talk with the guy. But there is no chance. Like he is who he is now. I don't know what happened or what influenced him or what, but he is who he is. He's really dug his heels in deeper now. Like last night, he is calling for the immediate reopening of all LAUSD schools. Like that's loco, man. That is not cool,
Wow.
especially when you have like Cudahy specifically, and Vice Mayor Alcantar has been the most vocal about this. But Cudahy is the most populated, least vaccinated city in the whole damn county, and
Wow.
our COVID rates are just going through the roof. You know, so and it's not until it's not until we have this vaccination ratio in check before we can even talk about opening up these Cudahy schools again.
Yeah, so see, like something like that, like
It's just nuts.
he's
Doesn't make any
causing,
sense.
he's advocating for harm. Like you're like we were talking about this with Rush Limbaugh, right? Like fuck, is he
Oh my
bad,
god,
or like
dude!
there's
Don't
worse,
get me on
like there's,
Rush.
yeah, like is he bad, but is he just saying shit, and is it just as bad to say shit than to do shit? But here we're talking about a politician, a council member in a really small town, but there's a lot
Yeah,
of people. It's highly populated. People are dying of COVID. You guys got a high
yeah,
infection rate, and he's saying let's open up the schools. Like
yeah,
somebody like that at that point is now an enemy of mine.
yeah, dude. You are what you say, and what he is trying to advocate for is ultimately toxic at the end of the day.
Yeah, Hector, you want to jump in? It looked like maybe you wanted to say something, or
No, no, I'm good. I
okay.
just want to say that I've never met Jack Guerrero like in person. I've seen him close by, right, at the meetings and stuff like that, or heard about him. I want to
Yeah,
say that he's whack, and I want people. That's my conspiracy theory. I want people to prove me wrong.
yeah, yeah,
Geo,
yeah.
any thoughts?
I never met him in person, but I did see him during the meeting that I was at where I met you. He did not vote on on the the thing that was being discussed. He stormed out and everybody applauded him, right? And so
Yeah,
that's
it
the
makes
kind
no
of
sense.
kind of politician he is, I guess. But I
If I
never
did
met him.
that at work, I would be getting fired.
Yeah,
You know, like if
yeah,
my boss told me like if my boss was talking to me and I stormed out, that was my last day working there.
yeah, exactly. Hey, Alan, you get those files? I'm out.
Yeah,
Like okay, like I guess don't come back, dude. Like that's it for you.
for
But yeah,
real.
this guy gets to leave and then come back next Tuesday at the next
Yeah,
council meeting, like nothing fucking happened.
yeah, dude. And
Uh,
he got reelected the last time when I lost my election is when he got reelected, right?
mhm,
I think that was sequence of events.
yeah.
And I was upset, dude. I don't know if I shared this with you guys, but the reason why that I was on the ballot, but I didn't campaign. The reason why I didn't campaign was because at the beginning of the campaign, at that time I was working at El Camino. I was working at El Camino College, and I was on my lunch break and I was talking to Crystal like on my wireless headphone thing, and I was in the middle of a sentence, and then the next thing I know, I guess I had passed out. I had collapsed in the middle of my thought, and a student was like waking me up, like, "Hey, Mister, are
Whoa.
you okay?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I still
Whoa.
had my AirPod in my ear, so I could hear my wife's voice, and she was like, "Christian, like, what is going on?" And then and then I was like, "Dude, what's going on?" And then he says, "Yeah, man, like you keeled over, and you passed out." So I was like, "Oh shit!" So I went to the emergency room, and I had a conversation with my physician, and the physician basically said like, "You are under so much stress,
Hmm.
like your body is like, fuck this,
It's shutting
like
down.
the stress is getting to you."
Yeah.
So I was like, "So what?" So he was like, "I'm like, well, what do I do? Like, I'm in the middle of a campaign. I have this job at El Camino. Like, what do I do?" And he was like, "Bro, like, I can't like tell you what to do. But my advice is like, you gotta choose something." So I chose. So I basically was like, "Well, I already paid for the mailers, and I paid for a few lawn signs. Like, I'll keep those, and I'll keep those like in the closet." And then I had some campaign money um, put aside. So I basically wrote a check to like a teacher that works over here at ELC. I was like,
Hmm.
"Here, buy your students a bunch of shit, because I'm out." And I just
Hmm.
basically let it, like, I'm on the ballot. We'll see what happens. you
Mhm.
know. And so I came. So this is what happens when you don't campaign. You end up in last place. And
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like um, at the end of the day, like it's all good. I'd rather be alive than fucking
Yeah.
than win an election.
Yeah, exactly. And that's and Chris, like I'm telling you, man, like it's seeing what you were going through, and we had that conversation. And if you even remember, over Facebook comments, how long did we sit in your house talking to a police officer?
Oh my god, dude! Like hours,
Over comments that I didn't
hours.
make. I would just made a post, somebody made a comment, and I had to sit with a fucking cop for fucking hours, dude. He told me his whole
Yeah,
life story, just to tell me like, hey man, like, do you know the person who made this comment? And I'm like, nah, man, I don't. I just started a podcast and I'm getting into shit, and people are
yeah,
fucking putting comments like
yeah.
just that, the fake flyers, the gun situation in at the
At the
gas
gas
station,
station.
all
Yeah,
that shit, dude. Defend movement, where I was actually trying to, do something, and within
you're
a
actually trying
week,
to defend.
yeah, I was actually trying to defend, and within like a week, we had moles in our fucking group chat that was fucking like going to like the ear of Jack and other people. So I'm like, dude, like if we can't even vet fucking people that we work with, like I'm out. Like it's not worth it. So
Yeah, but
yeah, man, I completely saw that in my future. I think this is different. This is like more fun. I got my friends with me. We're kind of just shooting the shit, while actually, talking about some serious stuff. But it's not really serious. I don't have any political goals. Just hopefully
yeah,
get people to just talk to each other some more, and talk about issues. That's about it. But yeah, man, I'm glad that you got your health back on track. That you got your son, your
yeah,
wife,
dude.
your whole family, and that's
That
that
was another thing too.
ultimately.
Like the like. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
No, go ahead.
but like the stress was also getting to Crystal. Like my
Mm.
wife was going through all that stress with me, dude.
Yeah, and she was
Seeing me
getting
come
hate.
home like
Yeah,
ripping my hair out,
yeah.
like it was crazy. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but we had gotten pregnant when I was still in office, and we
Hmm.
had a miscarriage
Yeah, I remember that.
during all that shit.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I left office in December, and we found out that we were pregnant in January.
Hmm.
And now, and the pregnancy went well, and now my son is like a year and a half old.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy.
Yeah,
It,
something that would
it,
not have happened if you would have got
it
reelected.
would
Like some
never
of
have
it's
happened,
no
dude.
way,
Never have happened because
and
we would still be in it.
yeah,
We
and
would still
and
be like this,
yeah, yeah, and it's a different kind of stress when it's something that you care about, like your hometown. Like to me, like
Right.
seeing like the whole couple of months that I was involved in that shit, my heart was breaking, dude. Like honestly, like it
Yeah,
was
dude.
breaking for
It was
just
fucking
like
nuts.
the horrible political state that it was in. Like I was
Yeah.
honestly just sad. Like I was like, man, like this is how uneducated and how like ignorant some of the people like in our town are. Like it can't be. Like it just can't. There's no way a fucking city can run that way, and that's why that city is fucking broken, because the people are fucking broken and they're fucking thinking. Like I don't know. I'm pretty sure there are smart people there in that city for sure. Like what do you think about the mayor that's there now, Miss Alcontreras? What is her last name? I forget.
Yeah, Alcantar. She
Miss
actually
Alcantar.
rotated
Sorry.
out recently, so
Okay.
she's her term as mayor ended, and she her specifically when she was mayor, I had actually seen her grow up. She went to elementary school with my little sister,
That's
so
crazy.
I got to see her kind of grow up and become this advocate and this champion for the undocumented and for the ununionized labor. Like she was like the real shit before she went into office. Like she didn't become a politician and then start becoming a voice for all these people.
Yeah.
Like she was the real fucking
She
deal.
was heavy into her
And
activism and all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, dude, and
Hmm.
and you could tell like she hasn't lost that authenticity of her being in office.
Hmm.
Like she's still very much like putting her voice out there and you know just taking those arrows in the back because she's the person when she was in office, like when she rotated in and then that fucking fuel dump happened
Yeah, that fucking plane
at
that
Park
passed over.
Avenue.
Yeah, for
And
those
then,
of you
and
guys
then
that don't know, sorry, Chris. The town that we live in is the same town that got dumped by fuel when that plane hovered over our town.
yeah,
So yeah, that was our town.
Yep.
and then she had to deal with the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
You know, like she went through so much shit.
So
Like
she
in
had to
her
grow
first,
up real quick. So just that's a
yeah,
lot of
dude, it was
experience
rough.
to go through in a short time. A
Yeah,
lot of
and I
stuff
think
to
she
go through.
handled it really well, dude.
That's good,
She
man. And
handled it
that's when I
really
say,
well.
like, our young people, man, that's where it's at. If we can rotate out all the dumbass people like Jack and just get all the young people who really know what's up, man. All the young people are hella educated right now, man. Like they look
Yeah,
their stuff up. They care about issues. They just don't want to go on. They see what happened to us and happened to the generation before us, right? Like they're just living in the same fucking situation that we can't seem to get out of, and it's because the leadership is lacking, man. We had a
Mhm.
good we and some when we have people like Jack who's better at talking to the people, not only because he speaks Spanish, but because he has like the same conservative values as them. He's able to sway them on anything because they all
Mhm.
think that he's one of them, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully as time passes, more of the young people will start to take over. And I think that, Cudahy, I think there couldn't have been like a better thing that could happen than to show that a 25-year-old could fucking be mayor. And then the trend continued to happen now with with who was in there, Miss I always forget her last name, sorry.
Her?
Miss Alcantar, her being in there. How old was she when she took the spot?
Oh my god, like super young. I think younger than I was.
Younger than you were?
I think she was like officially like the youngest.
Oh my
To,
god, yeah. See, so
yeah.
if that can be possible, then there's no reason why we can't have like a mayor and a whole city council filled with like people who are not older than 25, and maybe they can shake things up or have good ideas. I don't know, man. I think that you did a great job while you were in there. I'm pretty sure that you did everything that you could, and that your heart was in the right place. That I know, from knowing you personally, I know that you don't have any ridiculous policies or anything that could be seen as problematic. So if we can just get more of that in there, I think, and just in politics in general, man, I think that we'll be good to go, man. So I tip my hat off to you for even attempting it, and for doing what you did while you were there. If nobody has any other questions, man, we definitely appreciate you being our first guest on the discussion lounge. Everybody give it up to Mr. Christian Markovich from the
Yes,
city
sir.
of Cudahy, and to the awesome co-hosts Hector and Gio. Always insightful, always hilarious, always super smart, and with the hot takes, as they like to say. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you hear. And if you want to hear some of the issues that you care about discussed on Discussion Lounge, go ahead and drop them in the comments section.